one of the things that was a special challenge about the move to remote learning and remote teaching in March was that there was no planning for it. No one had done any planning for it. We were all taken by surprise by this everywhere. And so it really was a kind of heroic effort on the part of the faculty and on the part of the staff to switch midstream. And this required a number of different things, not just individual faculty members, how to retool courses that they were in the middle of to figure out how they could work remotely, but also support from staff, particularly the Center for Innovative Pedagogy, which works with faculty on pedagogical issues, ran regular workshops and continues to over the course of the summer.
It was unexpected and it was messy. But I don't think that means it was unsuccessful, I guess, is what I should start with. And we were able to still communicate effectively. I was able to meet with students when we needed to, when our schedules allowed, and we were able to make use of asynchronous communication, email and messaging, when we couldn't meet over Zoom or another synchronous method. So that was like the framework for the semester. More specifically, what I was teaching and how I adapted to that. I was teaching a lab course in physics. So that was one of the ones that I know we all wondered how we were going to do that one remotely. It actually went pretty well. It was a first year physics introductory lab course. We were able to do videos of a lot of the experiments. In some cases, students were able to take data directly from the videos. And in all the cases, they were able to use these resources that LBIS put together, as Jeff had mentioned, to use this virtual network to use all the normal software and data analysis tools that they would have had access to in the lab. So they were able to perform everything from data analysis on as they would have done if they were here in person. And we did our best to get the experimental part translated to remote in the short time that we had.
I actually taught 2 classes in the spring. Basically, I taught a section of our advanced studio class, and that is a multidisciplinary class. So there's some students who are doing sculptural things and others who weren't. And of course, they had been working all year because it's a year-long course, and they were deeply involved in their projects, but all of a sudden had to go home. And so some of them were able to bring materials with them. Others actually started from scratch again. The senior majors were they were probably affected most because they normally have a exhibition physically at the Gun Gallery. And to not have that exhibition meant they couldn't even get documentation of what the work looked like installed. One of the things we did was lots of communication. They ended up with a website that they actually designed and made themselves, a couple of them, and an Instagram feed. And as well, we made a catalog for them to keep as part of their archive and part of our archive.
Some of the things that I had done in the class worked better remotely than they did face-to-face. The online model, the having to meet on Google Meet or Zoom made it so, they waited and they participated in ways that they wouldn't otherwise. I think Claudia had said, that some students who were quiet in class were suddenly much more vocal. I also made it mandatory that they had to respond to their peers' work before they get to meeting with me. And so now when we meet, like the conversation level about their pieces is elevated because the writer had seen some prior comments from their peers already. And so now they were able to ask questions that wasn't asked or that wasn't said in these original critiques. So I was really surprised that the workshop model actually was a little bit better.
So I'm Hope Herod and I'm class of 98. I am also a trustee, and I've been a trustee for a little while, but I also teach elementary school in Washington, D.C. And so I could barely sit still because I'm listening to Claudia Esslinger, who was my professor. But the thing that rings true for me every time I come back to Kenyon is how relevant all of the things that you guys are dealing with match up with my experiences. I taught virtually for 10 weeks, you know, we turned on a dime. My colleague and I taught 37 kids, and we had 37 out of 39 every single day. But you know, the thing you talk about the challenges and having, you know, the opportunities that you're taking now to be reflective, it reminds me every time that, you know, I went to graduate school for education at Boston College, but I didn't learn to be a teacher from them. I learned from you guys. The Kenyon professors were the ones who taught me how to be a teacher. And it just makes me remember just how important it is for you to be able to touch the lives of these kids, because you, professors, allow me to do that. And so I want to thank you, and I appreciate you, and I will take all of your love and all of the guidance and all of the protection, all of the support that you give to your students, and I will pour that into mine because you taught me to do that. So thank you.